I would love to introduce your first speaker of the afternoon. So Angela Bates is a senior manager of chapter engineering at Discover Financial Services. I'm really excited about this talk because she's going to be covering what it's like to do internal DevRel in a highly regulated industry. So it's a specialty, and I cannot wait to see what she shares with all of us. So please give a huge round of applause and a standing ovation to our first speaker, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a really nice conference to come to. I've attended many of these DevRel conferences in the past, but this is the first time I've taken the stage. However, this venue is really familiar to me. So up until just 6 months ago, I worked at IBM, where I'd been for 27 years. And we used to run our IBM Code meetups here up until 2019. So I have many, many memories, happy memories actually, of bringing developers into this space in the evenings and helping them learn to use IBM Cloud technology. So really great to be here. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experiences in the 6 months that I've been at Discover Financial Services of internal developer relations in a highly regulated industry. And really what's come to light to me is that there are actually developer relations roles for all of us in every company, because every company needs developer relations. So that's a good message for us all. So we're likely all familiar with the expression that software is eating the world, and that was coined back in 2011 by Mark Anderson. And this has come to pass, as we've seen. For those of us that have been around for a few years, we've seen many, many businesses fold in response to disruptors like Amazon, Netflix, Airbnb, and Uber, and all of the rest. And the notion that software really is the ultimate disruptor in terms of business success has been around for a lot longer. For over 20 years, it's been around this concept that software really is the ruling force and the decider of whether a business stays in business or not. And this is why developers themselves really do have the power to change the world. So if your organization is like ours, we're a digital bank, you'll know that you may know that software coordinates very complex payments networks, handles trillions of transactions every day, supports customer service, builds loyalty, manages our finance, but also aggregates information to help inform management decisions. But if your business is industrial in nature, say, for instance, you're building cars, then your software probably controls your acquisition, production, product lines, stock management, marketing, sales, and distribution. So it's a clear fact, I think, that if 95% of any business's operations could be controlled by software, then your business is a software business and a technology business. And the importance of software as a make or break is only set to increase as the software that our developers are using becomes easier to use, easier to adopt with cloud technology and artificial intelligence, putting the power of technology in everyone's hands every single day. So software developers really are, if we needed any kind of business justifications of our roles and the roles of the developers that we serve, if we needed any justification, it's that the developers and software engineers are the linchpins of business competitiveness and innovation. They literally hold businesses' future in their hands every single day. So the competition to attract and retain that talent into every single company is very fierce, believe me. It's really hard to hire great software engineers. And that is only going to get stronger. It's only going to get more difficult for us to hire the right people to make sure that our products are the right products that are delivering services that will delight our customers every single day. So enough about the preamble and the reason that I'm here, really. I wanted to tell you a little bit first, before I get going, around a little bit about Discover Financial Services. Just a quick show of hands, if you don't mind. Has anybody heard of Discover already? Oh my goodness, look at that. That's brilliant. So maybe some of these points might not be needed, but for those of you that have not, if I was doing this talk in the US, I'd probably get almost 100% of hands going there. So Discover started life as a credit card company back in 1986, only accepted in North America, and is one of the US's most recognized financial services brands out there at the moment. Since its credit card days, it's expanded offerings to include digital banking services, student loans, home loans, just regular current accounts and savings accounts as well. We also run some of the most well-known payments networks behind the scenes as well. And our UK office in Farnborough, where a lot of our engineers are based that are working on the payments backbone of the business. So we run the Discover Global Network. We also run Pulse, which is the US's leading ATM and debit networks. And also Diners Club International, a part of our brand as well, when we have an office in Hammersmith here in London as well. But more importantly, we employ over 8,000 software developers to make all of that a reality, because our strategy has no physical presence. We are a software company, absolutely 100%. But working at Discover as a software engineer, what's it like? It's not just about working at a digital bank. Our engineers are working in small, autonomous teams with product owners and agile leaders, and working on products that actually make a difference to people's lives every day, helping them secure the finances they need to go to university. They're helping them buy their first home and managing their finances to give them a bright financial future. We have a huge focus on learning and innovation as well, helping those engineers keep up to speed with new technologies and use their technologies in creative ways. And we also, as a culture of the company, like no other place I've ever worked, have direct access to senior levels of leadership. It really is what it says on the tin there. It is a really great place to work as a software engineer. But you don't need to take my word for it. I've got a little video here with some interviews from software engineers at our company, so hopefully that will play.
And the reason I chose Discover was it gave me an opportunity to try something new, to innovate, and I'm staying here because the people, the culture is second to none, and I think we have an opportunity here to build something that's unique and amazing.
They take care of their people here, and it just feels good that you're, all the way up to the top is looking out for you, and everyone's like boosting everyone else up, and I just love that about Discover.
The engineering culture at Discover is awesome. There's a really strong inner source community that's growing within Discover to help engineering teams across different areas contribute to the greater good for all the engineering community.
I was really nervous coming to Discover because I thought that the engineering career would be kind of intimidating, but I found it to be quite the opposite. Most of my friends are the people on my team, and every day that I'm able to come into work, I enjoy it.
I love the Discover engineering culture because it's as we're moving into a product-centric culture, the sense of ownership as an engineer, it becomes very important and very obvious.
People that thought before or would say things like, that's not what we do, we're a bank, we don't do that sort of thing, that's a Facebook thing to do, that's a Google thing to do. That has kind of died. We are doing those things. We are able to use new technology, we are able to invent, we're able to give back, we're able to open source, we're able to patent.
The level of support, the level of positive reinforcement is unique. It's better than anywhere I've ever been.
So that was just some interviews with some of the people I work with every day, and just to try and express what it's like being a software engineer working in a digital bank like ours. What I'd like to do now is share with you 3 initiatives, developer relations initiatives, that we've put in place as part of a bigger strategy to put developers at the core of our business. So the first initiative is called the Discover Technology Academy, as the shirt says here. That's part of the team that I work in. This is really our key, our crown jewels in terms of internal developer enablement. The second initiative is the Discover External Eminence Program. And the fact that I'm able to speak to you right here today is courtesy of this program, where we can shine a spotlight on some of our talented individuals and give them the opportunity to share with others the things that we're doing. And then the final is the Discover Technology Experience, which is an external digital experience to give a glimpse behind the scene of what we're doing. But first, why? I can maybe hit, so some of you that might sort of be new to DevRel, you might be thinking, well, why would a bank want to hire we have a large team of developer relations professionals. Why would we do this? So it's stuck again. Sorry. There we go. So why would we want to do that? So this has been a strategy, a real conscious, tops-down strategy decision to put developers at the core of everything that we do. The company realized, of course, that we are a software company and we need to be able to attract and retain talent. And to be able to do that, we try to change the language. We try to take the way that we describe what software developers do and the role that they play in the company. So words like craftsmanship and guilds, these are probably not the words that we're used to describing what software developers do, but they're the ways that's the way that we describe it inside our company. We believe that software developers are true masters of their craft who want to get better every day at what they do. And we enable that to happen through our programs. So that has been a real sort of part of our digital transformation strategy and a conscious decision from the tops down. So it's really a strategic decision. So first I'm going to share with you what is the Discover Technology Academy. So that's the team that I work in every day, and it's around these 3 areas that we provide enablement for our developers. The first is around people. So we know that software developers are incredible learners. They learn every single day, and by helping each other learn and sharing what they know, that's how we can enable that knowledge to be able to spread. And so we have a team of people, me included, who is enabling that to happen. So we have over 60 internal technical communities, and I'm a community leader of all of those communities, helping community leaders bring people together cross-functionally across the company to share knowledge and run events, to create videos and blogs and posts for internal consumption only. So it's all about internal knowledge sharing. We run many product team events, not just for our software developers, but also for product owners and agilists as well, bringing them together so that they can learn together how to make better products for their customers. We've also curated over 400 learning paths for developers to learn no matter what stage they are at their career, whether they're learners or experienced, whether they're interested in one particular strand of technology or a whole career path. We've also enabled speakers to come from conferences like this, and I'll talk a little bit more about that program in a moment. And also we deliver all of this in a physical and virtual and hybrid environments as well. So it's a huge effort that goes into that internal enablement work. The second, preempted it there. The second area then is around processes. So what's really come home to me actually in the last 6 months is that working in a regulated industry has so many implications of the way that we work and the way that we communicate as well. But also it implies absolute rigor in terms of regulation, compliance and security, because it's your money that we're dealing with, and we have an obligation not only to our customers but also to the regulators and the auditors as well. And so having best practices, to having set standards of the ways things should be done is very important to us. So this is where the guilds come in. The guilds gather together subject matter experts that decide what are the best practices that will help us comply with regulations and security requirements. We also have immersive learning experiences to bring product owners, agilists, and engineers together to make sure that they understand the touch points where those regulations and security requirements come into play, so make sure they're all on the same page and all have the same understanding. We also have ways of bringing people together that will enable us to be able to work on ideas in safe environments in terms of working groups and innovation accelerators for us to be able to experiment safely with those ideas before they go into main production. But to take subject matter experts out of regular product teams, bring them together for short periods of time, then disperse them back into their product teams, taking that learning with them, but doing it all in a very controlled way. The third area then where we focus from the DTA is around developer experience. So these are the things that you might be familiar with in terms of onboarding of tech, starter kits, to be able to smooth that adoption of developers, taking technology from perhaps some companies that we may buy off some of our suppliers, but also creating new things as well to be able to provide a very smooth path to onboarding, so they don't need to worry about the infrastructure and the license keys and all of that kind of stuff. So having that as automated as possible. We've also put a lot of effort into our reuse hub. That's for internal purposes. The reuse hub hosts code patterns and reference architectures, and also authoring golden paths where we can show guarantee success when developers follow a certain route when they're onboarding new technology. And finally, our open source project office. Open source is a new area for us and our relationship with Finos as well. But it's important for us, again, because of regulations and the requirements, for us to be able to have a very clear policies, procedures, and guidelines for developers that want to either use open source or contribute to open source as well. So that's all the work that the team does with the Discover Technology Experience. It's a lot of stuff that we do to make sure the developers both learn, have good experiences working in the company, but also that we comply with regulations and requirements. And it's all about balance. So this is what I've grown to learn over the last 6 months or so. It's all about this balance of responsibility and freedom, giving the engineers the freedom to learn, the freedom to network with each other, to share what they know, but also have the balance of responsibility to make sure our products are properly built. I'm going to talk a little bit quickly now about our Discover External Eminence program, and as I said, I'm here courtesy of this program. And in the 6 months that I've been here, I've been very fortunate to have some great experiences here in the UK. I've taken a team of engineers over to DevOps this year, where many of them had never been to a technology conference before, so it was all very new to them. We had a speaker there too, same with QCon as well in London. We've also collaborated with some of our suppliers and seeded speakers there. And we've also took a sponsorship at London Technology Week this year as well. We've also had some tiptoes into the meetup area, working with some of our partners, and also formed partnerships with key organisations like the BCS, the British Computer Society, and also Every Woman as well. And bringing all of that together, I got a handful of colleagues together, and we ran an internal event of how to be a public speaker and how to get your abstract accepted into conferences, and ran that as an internal event for everyone. And we had over 1,000 people attend. I can't believe how many people attended that. Apparently it was the most well-attended event they'd ever run internally on the DTA. So that was amazing. Thank you. It just shows you the appetite to learn in the company is just incredible. So the third and final developer relations initiative that we have is the external, the technology experience. This is our external website where we showcase some of that written work, so some of our blogs, it features some of our engineers, we share our best practice, and we talk about the things that we're able to talk about on that website, so you can check that out if you get the time. I realize that we're kind of coming towards the end, so I did have a little video about the technology experience. I'm going to skip it, if that's okay, at the back there. So I'm just going to skip through. No. Watch that another time. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time comparing then, 5 minutes, yeah. I wanted to sort of compare my experiences then working for a company like IBM that had stuff to sell to developers that we wanted them to use, compared to a company like Discover Financial Services, where I am now, where it's all about internal enablement. And to have some kind of contrasting, what's the difference? And what I've tried to get my head around is the fact that at Discover, it's all about bringing the outside into the company. It's all about taking the energy and the knowledge and the feeling of sharing a knowledge and bringing that into the company and providing that experience to the developers inside the company and making them feel that they're really contributing to the wider community. As opposed to when I was at IBM, it was all about our products and what our products did and how we could reach out to developers and how we could get them to try it, at least. So that was the difference. And to put that into words, it's about who the audience is. So the audience at Discover are our own developers, our own data scientists, and agilists. We're providing enablement resources, best practices, learning experiences. And the reason that we do it is because we're trying to attract the right talent, keep it in the company as well, and build better products that are consistent and also meet requirements for regulations and security, and support this modern engineering culture. Whereas IBM, it was still data scientists and developers, exactly the same, but the nature of their relationship with the company was different. They were buyers and influencers. We were providing storytelling assets, proof points, starter kits, onboarding kits, and the reasons that we were engaging with communities was to reach our audience, to actually have a platform to talk to them. And why? Well, it was back to selling stuff, really. But what unites developer relations activities across both types of flavors, if you like, of DevRel, is this desire to bridge the gap between the technology that software developers use and the developers themselves, and to smooth that adoption. So I'm seeing a definite trend at the moment in internal developer relations roles, and that's really ramping up. And that's, I think, only going to increase as the need to attract the best talent for every type of company is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Because we know that software does provide companies with the competitive edge. It can protect a company from going bust and being disrupted by companies who do get it. And so that's why at Discover we have invested so much in making the developer experience and life and culture in our company of strategic importance, with a dedicated team of experienced professionals like myself that are there to make our developers' lives better. Thank you very much for spending the time listening to me. Thank you.
That was great. Oh, I don't have a mic. We're going to do Q&A, so the mic's, oh, there we go. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A. That was a fantastic talk. Raise your hand and I or someone else can run over to you with a mic.
Hi. Thank you. That was a wonderful talk, and it's a great insight regarding to internal development relationships. Why, maybe a spicy take, it is for a finance company where you have a very dedicated team, probably a large budget to provide this. How, for other companies that we would like to perhaps see this kind of internal relationships, what key parts would you think that you can apply this sort of internal relationships into other companies that perhaps aren't as financed as yourselves?
I get you. Okay. I think it's really tempting to do a lot of tactical things. It's really tempting to run events and pay for education licenses. It's really tempting to do that. But I think it's really important for you to have that tops down, so have that strategic direction of what developers mean to the company and what value that they bring, and then be able to select a handful of things that you can do really well to make developers' lives better and easier and deliver what it is you want them to deliver, which is better products. That makes sense.
We have Matt back there.
Hi, Angela. Thank you very much for your talk. I have a question about the freedom and responsibility pendulum, particularly with inner source efforts that you might want to consider pushing outside. And this actually comes from, I used to work in an investment bank, so I have a little bit of experience. How do you make sure that that balance is right, and how you take feedback from communications groups are trying to make sure that we're putting out a message that is correct, that is good for brand reputation, etc., but at the same time balances with developers wanting to interact with not just internal communities but external communities as well? So have you got any tips on how you balance that?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess at Discover we're kind of new in our journey, if you like, to externalize some of the things that we do. And naturally, as you would expect, we are super cautious about everything that we do. So everything that you've seen today has director level approval, finance approval, it has legal approval, it has editorial, every graphic has been licensed. So there's the work that goes into making the experience of me being able to share this. There's a lot of work and thought gone into the processes around that. So that's how we have a very clear intake, if you like, requests to share. And then we have a very clear process to be able to approve or not approve or modify, and then give formal permission, and then you can share. So it's all about that process, and then the guilds and all of those structures that we've put inside the company to be able to enable that to happen.
Quick question. When you started doing it internally, was there something that surprised you that was very different from sort of the more traditional DevRel that we're doing? And if so, is there something that you've learned doing this internally that you could recommend to us in this external facing?
I think, thank you for the question. I think the thing that surprised me is that the bank wanted to employ me at all. It took 9 months of conversation to persuade me. I kept saying, but why? Why do you want me? I just don't get it. So I think that's what surprised me the most. But once I was inside, I think that what surprised me again is the hunger that the developers there have to experience life like perhaps developers might experience working in a technology company that I've been used to. They might experience something on a par with that, to be felt to be integral to the business and be the center of the business. That the hunger to learn and to be center of the business, that's what's really great to have that feedback. So
I think this will be our final question.
So my question is that not that many corporations they are behind open source and such active DevRel communities as yours. So when did this change happen in Discover, and how and why?
Okay, so it started 2020 was when our digital transformation began, and that's when the strategy was set. So that's when we're almost 3 years into that. Why? Is because we needed to attract and retain talent, but also as a bank, we also have a lot of legacy software and infrastructure around, and we wanted to be able to be at the cutting edge. We wanted to be at the forefront. We needed to migrate to more modern architectures. So there was a technology reason as well. Was there another part of the question? Was that it?
Do you make any money with open source?
Oh, money. Oh, I can't.
How do you sell to the business? I mean, how do you sell doing open source to the business of Discover?
I'm not sure I can answer that question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Angela. Give her a huge round of applause, please.